Hi, this is Masenya of Masenya Attorneys Incorporated, a law firm based in Centurion, Republic of South Africa. We boast 24 years of legal practice in the areas of commercial and tax laws. My professional team and I have over the years proved great success in assisting numerous clients with a myriad of commercial and tax matters involving millions of rands. We are skilled, experienced, qualified, and have the capacity to assist you. Email us at clients@cntlaw.co.za or call us 011-318-6592 or 084-383-7747. All consultations are strictly by appointment.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me this evening on Solomon's Temple. I'm Uncle Solomon, and it's so good to be with you tonight. I hope you're doing well wherever you're watching from. It's about 36 minutes past 9 p.m. from Johannesburg, South Africa. So great to have you here. If you're here for the very first time, please make sure you subscribe to the channel, Solomon's Temple. Here we get to look at the church, the happenings around the church, and a whole lot of other things. So I just briefly want to talk about Omotoso's deportation. Some of you guys watching it for the first time, you don't know who Omotoso is. Omotoso is a Nigerian born South African based pastor. He runs a church called Jesus Dominion International. He's been in South Africa since the year 2000. And over the years, he became very popular, set up churches and set up like groups of young people singing. And he was accused of abusing some of these young girls where he housed them in so many places. And he was arrested. This was his arrest some few years ago. I think about 7 years ago. He spent time in jail and he was acquitted because the defense, the prosecutor, didn't do well. Right. So, and these are some of the girls that accused him. This is me here, and the lady in white next to me, and she was assassinated. She was murdered about 2 months ago. She and I worked so much on this case, and the other two girls there, you can see they're twins. They also accused him of abusing them sexually. And also right in the middle here, I'm there, and the lady in the middle here, Cheryl Zondi, she also accused him. There are so many girls who accused him of abusing them and grooming them. So he was released, and obviously court judgment, he had to be released. He was released, and to my shock, he actually stayed in the country. I feel in South Africa, if I was him, I wouldn't stay in South Africa because first, my life would be in danger. A lot of people are angry. Very, very angry. And not just staying in South Africa, but he started running meetings and church meetings and crusades, in a public place. And that in itself, your life is in danger. People would know where you are. But you see, there's no way. That's all he knows, to run church, lie to people using scriptures. So now he was arrested by the Department of Home Affairs in South Africa, who are in charge of who stays in the country, who shouldn't stay in the country. And he's been said that his visa, his permit to stay in the country actually expired in 2017. So he needs to be deported. So they arrested him, put him up, because they arrest you before any sort of deportation. Constitutionally, you're supposed to appear in court. So there needs to be a court order that orders your deportation. So they took him to court today. And there are so many people who appeared in court today. Outside of the court, he had a full choir, people from his church saying, no, you can't deport him. We need him in this country. The court has already discharged him and all that. So it was chaos outside of the court today. And he's going to be appearing again tomorrow. And on the other side, there's the women, like the ANC women in South Africa, different groups saying you need to deport him. Church leaders from that community coming out in East London, which is the eastern part of South Africa, saying we need to deport him. And here's a video from some of the women, especially the ANC Women's League outside of the church, saying that he needs to be deported. So outside of the court, people protesting and making their views known regarding his deportation. So totally two different side of the coin. Some people are for him and some people are not for him. Law enforcement, as the police had to step in, obviously, there was a very strong police presence outside of the courthouse. Now, I really don't know why somebody like Omotoso would like to stay in South Africa. I'm not sure he knew the magnitude of the hate that people carry for him, what he is accused of doing, the dislike and the sense of injustice that people felt that these girls never got. So there is that anger. If you know a guy called a hip hop artist called AKA, who was with his girlfriend somewhere in a hotel room in Cape Town, and then she fell from like the 10th floor to the ground, died, and he was accused of pushing her or really motivating that situation. And he was told, don't ever come back down to Durban. And Durban is actually where the girl was from. But I think 2-3 years later, he was in Durban. And guess what? In the evening, hired guns came and they shot him. So those are the kind of situation that may happen to Omotoso if he continues like that. Maybe he doesn't have any other place to go. He cannot go to Nigeria, maybe because he's ashamed. Or maybe he doesn't really want to go and start from ground zero. He's 67. Or maybe South Africa for him is like, this is a good business place for me. He had benefited so much from being in South Africa as somebody who calls himself a pastor, but is just a businessman masquerading as a pastor. He lived like a king here. So obviously he would love to continue to do that. But the problem is he's endangering his own life. And for me, you don't want to see a situation where he got shot, by somebody. Because that's where this whole thing is going to, believe me. But then on the flip side, he is saying, no, they cannot deport him anyway. So he's now actually appealing and telling the court, no, they need to look at the merits of the issue, the deportation charges by the Department of Home Affairs that was brought against him. He actually needs his visa to be extended because obviously nothing wrong with him. So he took me to jail, my visa expired, so you need to, I'm here. But the Home Affairs Department said, no, his visa was actually obtained fraudulently. So they need to prove that. I guess because he had victory in court the last time with all the charges brought by the girls and all that. I guess he feels like he could get another victory when it comes to his permit to stay in South Africa. Because right now he's been declared an illegal alien in South Africa. And illegal aliens, obviously, you deport them. So there's really some drama there that's going on, and the Home Affairs Department really need to make sure that they do not fumble, just like the prosecutor from MPA fumbled in the case. I hope they don't fumble here. because if they do, it's just going to be so embarrassing. And from Omotoso side, if I was Omotoso, I would leave on the next plane out of this country. People are angry. The girls never got justice. And like I said, a friend of mine, this one in white that I'm sitting next to, she was shot. She has been threatened. She told me she's been threatened so many times because of this case. And she was shot. So there's a lot of anger there. And it's just important that at the end of the day, if the Home Affairs Department cannot provide evidences that shows that his permit is fraudulent, and he could stay here, he could apply again for an extension. Maybe they will find a reason to deny him, but what reason would they find to deny him? The court never found him guilty because of the lack of attention by the prosecutor, the government's prosecutor. So that's where we're going. They're going to appear again in court tomorrow, and the magistrate is going to rule, or whatever the magistrate is going to say. We're going to see that. I have appeared in that kind of deportation court, in deportation charges. When I was in prison, when I was taken to prison by Alf Lukau, false prophet Alf Lukau, about 11 of us were taken to appear before a magistrate for deportation from prison. They took us in a police van to court. 11 of us. Some Malawians, Zimbabweans, I think there was somebody from Lesotho. And all 10 of them were, the court ordered for them to be deported. I was the only one who the court says, no, you cannot deport him. He's here legally. So anything could happen, but we keep watching. God bless you. Have a good evening.